Valley Fence donates to the Roadrunner Food Bank. Here they are, your pregame coach's comments. Here's Lobo head coach Paul Weir.
Paul, the Lobos are in the Mountain West tournament. It's the quarterfinals. You have Wyoming. It's the third matchup between these teams this season. You even mentioned it, the old adage of it's tough to beat a team 3 times. Do you believe that?
I think when the margins are so close, yes, but I don't think necessarily that means we have a less chance of succeeding tonight. I think when you have two teams that are pretty close together, whether it's a Fresno State, whether it's San Diego State, a UNLV, a Wyoming, these games can kind of go either way. It comes down to a lot of little things, particularly down the stretch of games. There are some we've won, there are some unfortunately we've lost. The Wyoming games we're able to come out on top of, and I think the third one is just going to be just as much of a fight as the first two.
You've had a bunch of workouts here in Vegas, some shorter, some longer. How's the preparation been?
I think pretty good. It's an unusual kind of situation to kind of have a bye and then wait to who you're going to play for the days leading up to it. But, we spent a lot of time in Wyoming. We kind of assumed they were going to win. I think it was a unique 6-11 game and that, the 11th seed, it was going to be hard for them to win. So, we've fortunately a little bit ahead of the curve as far as just mentally preparing for Wyoming. So I think from that standpoint, we feel really good. It's tough to get a lot of time on the actual court you play on here. So we've tried to get as many shots up as we could in that environment and then spend the other time in the other gyms working on kind of the execution and stuff.
That's exactly the question I wanted to get to, because of all those workouts that you've had, you really only had 25 minutes on the Mountain West court in Thomas and Mack.
Yeah, exactly right. So we tried to save that for a lot of shots. We've still been shooting in all the other gyms we've been in leading up to it, and we know that shooting is a big priority for us and what we're trying to do. So, at this point, you can't control a lot of that, so we just try and make the most of what we have and just get the guys ready to play as best we can.
Does it make it feel disjointed, though? Mendenhall Center, Cox Pavilion, a little bit in the Thomas and Mack, Findlay Prep. That's a lot of different locations.
Potentially, but it's not something we've really discussed. I think every team has to go through it to some degree or another, and I think we're just trying to keep our team as fresh and as minded and as loose as they can right now. I don't want to create any more pressure than maybe they're already feeling. So it's really been a pretty comfortable environment, and hopefully we'll be able to go out and play that way.
From what I've seen, they do look pretty relaxed and comfortable. Do you feel that way?
For sure. I think we've been that way the last couple of weeks, to be honest with you. As the kind of pressure is mounted in these games, I've tried to kind of take a little bit off of them, a little bit from me to them, and maybe just have them feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed, because the reality is the intensity of these games creates enough as it is. I don't need to add to it. So, we've been kind of quote-unquote playing with house money here for a while. Hopefully we'll be able to go out and play with that same abandon, that same attitude, and have some fun.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is alongside. As you look back on the tapes of the 2 games against Wyoming, one you won in the 70s. The other one it took 119. You needed almost all of them. What was different about those 2, and what do you expect here tonight?
I think, that second game was part of a little bit of a wave where, I think really the last 4 or 5 games of the season, I thought officials really kind of came together to tighten up the game down the stretch. I think there's a common complaint from coaches, from fans, that the games just get rougher and rougher as the season goes on and officials just let guys play. And I think down the stretch you saw a pretty concerted effort from officials to get back to calling every little thing they could and not letting games kind of get out of hand from just a physicality standpoint. So I thought all our games down the stretch were just filled with a lot of fouling, on both sides. I think we were fouling a lot. We were getting the free throw line a lot. And those games were a little bit different than maybe earlier when we played Wyoming, when a lot more was just kind of going on. So I think from that standpoint, they were 2 different games. For us, obviously, we had 2 different rosters for both of those games. And I thought that second half of the Wyoming game was really a little bit of a turning point for us in our season. I don't think we'd really beat anyone of real quality yet, and we went in at halftime down to them, and I thought in the second half really battled back, got a win, and gave ourselves the first, we can beat somebody pretty good moment. So that's what I'll remember from the first one.
I was thinking about this. You talked about the fouling. Can it go too far? In other words, officials, in trying to quote-unquote keep control, looking for an instigator or an agitator, something like that, get a little too tight in the way that they call a game and kind of take the game away from the guys a little bit? Potentially.
I think it happens at times emotionally, where sometimes they'll call a T really quickly, or maybe some fouls in some areas where the game can get physical to avoid anything escalating. But I've never really noticed anything where I feel feel like the officials are doing something as ruining the game or something like that. I really think they were just trying to get back to keeping the game clean going into postseason play, where everyone knows what a foul is supposed to be, and it's not going to be everyone complaining that games are officiated completely indifferent in February and March than they are in November.
Wyoming is unique because they have those two outstanding scorers in Dalton and James, but then like a player like Adams completely went off in the second matchup between the two of you. Are they a pick your poison kind of team where you have to decide, are we going to give them threes? Are we going to, focus on one guy and maybe let another guy, loose a little bit in the process? How do you approach that?
I think our second game with them was such a unique game. It's hard to extrapolate trends from that. It was just a wild game, and I think it could have been anybody. It didn't have to be Wyoming, to where both teams were scoring a lot. It was really up and down. Fouls were getting called almost every possession. They were fouling us with 3 minutes to go. There was just a lot of unique dynamics that I think kind of came together to make it a kind of unusual game. So it's hard to pull from that and say this is exactly what's going to go on. I think game one was maybe a little bit more traditional, and James has been exceptional in both games. I think Adams had a struggle in game one, really good game two. Dalton's been making some threes against us, but we've done a decent job containing him. And then Herndon's been up and down. He was kind of in one game, not out of the other. So they've had their own issues of being hard to pin down. We've had ours as well. So I don't know if we've ever really seen each other consistently the way we both want to be yet. And that's the beauty of basketball. That's why we play a third time, and hopefully the best team will win.
Lobo coach Paul Weir's alongside. If you had to focus on a few things, I was thinking about transition defense in particular against this team is so important. They love to drive the basketball. Those straight line drives are huge against this team.
Yeah, for sure. We spent a lot of time on transition defense. They're a great charge taking team. They've taken over 10 charges on us in the 2 games. So we spent a lot of time on trying to eliminate that turnover. I thought that's hurt us a little bit. Rebounding, they're not as proficient overall of an offensive rebounding team, but it's something that for us we always focus on every day. I think if our transition defense is really good, we take care of the basketball and we don't give them kind of second shots. At the end of the day, all we can do is do a good job on James and Dalton. If they start making really bad, really hard shots, which great players sometimes do, there's only so much you can do about that. Our job is to kind of control all the rest of that enough to where even if those guys have great games, and James has had great games in both times we played them, we've still been able to come out on top. So we just need to control as much as we can. That's potentially a weakness for us.
Critically important when James starts to take it off the bounce and another guy runs at him, that you guys are quick to those jumps, to the rotations.
Exactly right, for sure. Particularly to Dalton. He's such a good shooter. But James in general has done a good job of just getting through all that and still finishing. Did a really good job against San Jose as well. I mean, he didn't miss. He just gets in the lane and can really make tough shots. He's a very good player. They played him a lot at point guard in their last game against San Jose. I don't know if they're going to do that as much against us, if they're going to play those bigger lineups. I would love it if they do. But we're just going to have to adapt and see where they put James and the things they do with him and give it the best defense we can.
They do like to zone. And what about your zone offense? I mean, you made shots against them the last time you played them, but did the ball move the way you like it?
It did pretty good. I mean, I think they played us 13 possessions in the first half up there, and they only played us 1 or 2 in the second half. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to want to go to again in this game or not. They played a lot against San Jose last night with a bigger lineup, which kind of made sense. We're obviously smaller, so if they go smaller, I don't know if they're going to want to kind of match up or play zone. We've spent a lot of time on our zone offense the last couple days, just preparing for their zone defense. I'm assuming we'll see 13 to 15 possessions of it, and if for whatever reason it's going really well, maybe we'll see a whole game of it, and if they're struggling in it, maybe it'll be a little less.
Final thought, the fatigue factor, they might not get there until the 3rd or 4th day, but I did consider that they've gotten, if there were any, first game jitters in the tournament out. They've got a game under their belt.
Yeah, for sure.
And your unit hasn't been in this scenario yet. You worried at all that there might be some nerves early?
I saw it. I felt I saw it in our women's game. I thought our women came out when I watched it and just had a great first half. I think they were just ready to roll. The other team, which actually ironically was Wyoming, hadn't played, and they were just a little. And then in the second half, I thought Wyoming obviously played a little bit more comfortable. So I took from that game this is kind of real. So we've really just tried to stay as calm and relaxed as we can. I don't want the guys freaking out, all pressure, all those kinds of things to where we're going to come out tight. I was actually with the Utah State coach a little bit this morning, and he said the same thing. They were just so tight when they opened their game against Colorado State. And, that's really what I'm hoping I can just alleviate from the guys. The pressure, the tenseness of starting a game, the jitters, whatever it may be. Let's go out, play, have fun, and just play our brand of basketball.
It is the start of a new season. It feels that way, but a great close to the regular season with 5 wins and taking 11 of your last 15 and finishing third in the league. It's been such a fun ride, and I sure hope it continues. Best of luck tonight.
Me too.
Jackson calling for the cherry and silver fans to stand. The Lobos will play in the semifinals tomorrow night. A 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time start against Utah State, the 7th seed, an upset winner over Boise State. This one is over. Triple zeros on the game clock. Lobos 85, Wyoming 75. You can beat a team 3 times.
Yeah, you can.
In one season.
Lobos live to play another day.
New Mexico 85, Wyoming 75 is the final. 6 consecutive wins for the Lobos. Their 12th win in their last 16 games. They've gone 12-4 here at the end of the season and now into the postseason. 85-75 victory over the Wyoming Cowboys. The Lobos win it by 10. And Hunter, we're going to have Jerome Robinson right away.
Okay.
J-Rob, Lobo assistant coaches, come on by, and he's going to sit down with us here courtside at the Thomas and Mack Center. Our post-game coaches' comments. Lobo assistant coach Jerome Robinson, congratulations, man. That was pretty sweet finish. New Mexico closed it out 85-75. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a nail biter. Nail biter, to say the least.
Congratulations, Coach.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Job ain't done. We got a lot of work left to do.
For sure. What stood out for you as you guys were able to put it away down the stretch?
Pardon me?
What stood out as you were putting this one away at the end of the game? What was the key?
Well, I think they started to get tired. You can see that they're starting to get tired. They're making mental mistakes. And that's what we've been trying to preach all year. Just, we have the bodies. A lot of guys are playing 39, 40 minutes a game. We're playing 20-plus minutes a game. And I think we just had more bodies, and you start to see the mental mistakes, the turnovers, the missed layups, things that they were making earlier. They're not as sharp in the second half.
Coach, they were playing kind of a matchup zone. Did that pose any problems for you guys? Did you feel that was effective?
It was a little bit. We got stagnant at certain times. We weren't moving the ball. I don't know if it's a little bit of nerves, just first game in the Mountain West, you know what I mean? I think a little bit was that, but we needed to have more poise, getting the ball moving, player movement and ball movement, and we weren't doing enough of that. We started to do it later on.
Early on, you guys sprinted to that 13-point lead about, the 11.5-minute mark or so, somewhere in there, and you were crashing the offensive glass and turning them over, and that was a pretty good recipe.
It was. When you look at the scoreboard, it looks good when you see 22-9, but Wyoming's a really, really good basketball club, and the run is coming back. You just don't know when. You kind of hope it doesn't, but it's coming. They have too many weapons for it to stay that way.
And when it came, it seemed like they were able to get easy. Right at the rim. Herndon had a couple of dunks and then another layup at the rim. They were on the backside of that press. They've also had some success breaking the press. I guess that's what you guys want them to do. You want them to get into that running up and down.
Well, we want to get them to that running up and down, similar to down at their place. Yes. But obviously, we have to have our backside guys in the right places, and I don't think we had that. But we're going to go back and watch some film and see what we did wrong, because obviously Utah State is going to be watching exactly what we did tonight. They're going to try to duplicate it.
Joe Furstinger was spectacular
He
tonight.
was.
Why?
Well, he wanted this game bad. He told me earlier, he didn't like how the last game finished. You know what I mean? I think he had 4 charges, and he just didn't have a good game. And this could be his last game, he said. And he said if it's his last game, he wanted to at least go out fighting. And I think he did that tonight.
When you're a senior, you don't want it to be your last game. You want to continue to play.
It's too much fun. They're having fun out there.
He was fearless going to the rim. And you know what? A lot of it, especially early, was against Herndon. Herndon's a great shot blocker. How is he so effective?
Well, Coach told him, in scout, shot blockers, you have to go at them. If you're tentative, that's when they block shots. Yes. If you're double pumping, if you're, overthinking, overanalyzing the layup, you got to put pressure on the referees and you got to go put pressure on shot blockers. And that's what he did tonight. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't thinking about the shot getting blocked. And when you don't think about that stuff and you go in strong, you're able to make layups.
I thought Troy played an excellent game, not just offensively but defensively. A lot of times he drew the assignment of guarding James. And I thought he did a great job of keeping James pretty much out of doing what he wants to do.
Right. Troy, he's a different character, man. He doesn't get too up and he doesn't get too down. He's like the perfect composure. You should see, all season when he's at the free throw line and it's a big, big moment for him. He's sinking them. He's just mentally, he's just tough. He's one of our better defenders, and he came to play tonight, offensively and defensively.
Also, you guys took great care of the basketball, I thought. There were a couple of late mistakes as you were closing it out, but they were of no consequence. But it seemed like you had 4 turnovers for almost the entire night. And I know the point guard play is something that Coach Weir has talked about a lot, like those guys need to be better with the ball. He's
been preaching that, for the past month. Just getting on our PGs. He's been getting on us as assistant coaches.
And Tone, too.
Exactly. Yeah. All 3 of those guys to just take care of the basketball. And tonight they did that. They were composed. Coach always talks about just keep it boring. Keep it simple. Keep it boring. Yeah. Don't have to make the home run plays. And I think when we do that, we're a better basketball club.
Yeah, he kind of got after him about running the press breaker. Yeah, attention to detail, execute the press breaker.
Right.
And sometimes as you start to celebrate a little early, falling back on your heels, thinking you just need to throw it in bounds.
Right.
But he wants them to kind of finish it till the horn
Right to the horn. Like, we don't have room for mistake with our basketball club. And that's what he's trying to preach. Just look, man, it's not over till it's over. Finish the game right. Even if we win this game, how we finish carries over to tomorrow's game. And that's the biggest thing. Just finish it right. Don't celebrate. Show respect to the opponents and just do it the right way.
What's gotten into Sam Logwood on the defensive glass? I feel like there's a total different mindset for him in terms of the want to and the commitment. He's just become an animal.
He's bought in. He's bought in. It took Sam a while to buy in, but him and Coach came to an understanding, and he's bought into rebounding. He's getting up high on him too. I mean, his head is above the rim on a lot of those rebounds. Yeah. We've been talking to him. I know Harry's been talking to him about just using your athleticism and your strength. You're too strong and you're too athletic not to be, one of the top rebounders. And I think he's taking his words and applying them.
I'm amazed how you guys were able to beat them by so much, by 10 points. I thought, as you mentioned early on, Wyoming kind of ran out of gas at the end. I mean, they played yesterday and they played back-to-backs. That kind of leads me to the next question.
Yeah.
How are you guys going to be able to handle a back-to-back with the style of play that you play? You're picking up full court. You're playing hard on both ends of the floor. How do you think the guys are going to be able to react tomorrow?
I think we're built for this style.
Yes.
I think this is why Coach Weir applied this type of style. The way we practice every day, we don't when we're practicing, we're conditioning a ton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether it's running the pit stairs, whether it's the suicides.
Yeah, but you can't duplicate back-to-back games.
You can't duplicate back-to-back games, not at all. But
last time you guys played was the Thanksgiving tournament.
Yes, exactly. But I think with the amount of guys we play and the bodies that we have on the bench, that plays into our favor.
Okay.
So we'll see tomorrow night. But guys had, what is it here, 20s, high mid 20s. You know what I mean? And
no
I know
one played over 25 minutes.
I know a few of those guys at Utah State were probably in the 30s back-to-back days.
Yes.
So hopefully their third day, they're a little more tired than we are.
Yeah. McEwen played 40 minutes.
Only one Lobo with 30 minutes.
Yes.
Troy Simons.
Oh, did he play? Okay.
Yeah, but only one. We've got Jerome Robinson, our post-game coach's comments. The Lobos have defeated Wyoming. Final score 85-75. I know Wyoming doesn't really commit a lot of effort to the offensive glass, but with the rebounding being something that has been an issue for New Mexico this season, off and on, to out-rebound them 38-27 and to grab 6 more offensive boards than they did against any opponent. That's a big deal for New Mexico, right?
It's a huge deal. And, Coach Ware been preaching it all year. Just, we got to get on the rebound. And it's not a height issue. It's not an athleticism issue, really. It's just a want issue, man. You got to want to rebound. You got to go after it. And it's whoever wants it more is going to get the rebound, no matter how tall, how athletic you are. You know what I mean? And we've been preaching it, and I'm glad it showed, and it showed at the right time. In the conference tournament. And hopefully it carries over to tomorrow.
Hunter mentioned the defense of Troy Simons. Is it instinct? Is it a basketball IQ thing? We know how athletic he is, but how does he find himself in the passing lane all the time? He's unbelievable.
His anticipation and his reads off the ball, he should be playing football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has that knack, for knowing where the ball is going to be. He does a great job reading the ball handler's eyes, and he just finds himself in the right place at the right times. And he still needs to work on some on ball stuff. But today was great for him. I thought he did a great job on the ball, but off the ball, he's by far our best defender.
Give us an early scout on Utah State. I don't know if that was your scout this season.
It was.
It was?
It
okay.
was.
What do you have on Utah State for us?
We got to stop Murrell, obviously.
Yes.
Murrell destroyed us
Flat out
at our place. He has no conscience. He, he's going to shoot on the catch. It doesn't matter if you're there. If you think you're close, you're not close enough.
Okay. Close out on him, critical.
Yeah, we got to chase him off the line. We got to make him a ball handler. Kobe McEwen, he's very unorthodox. He plays very unorthodox. He's a really good player. He's streaky, but when he gets it going, down at their place, he can get it going. So, they're like a two-headed monster. We gotta try to contain those two. If one goes off, we probably could deal with that, but we can't allow two to go off because we'll be in trouble.
Is there anybody else? Is there an X factor for them? Anybody else who can sneak up on you from among the rest of their guys? Those two are obviously the key, but is there anything else that scares you?
Well, the shooting by Henson, 23, he shoots, he's a great freshman. He shoots the heck out the basketball. Brown and Taylor, they're really good players. They're really good players.
Each one had a good game against the Lobos during the regular
season.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Brown, he had a good game at their place. And then it was the opposite at our place. So both of those guys can get things done. They're physical. Brown, he can go off the bounce. He can shoot threes. So we're going to have to do a good job on those guys, making sure they're not hurting us. And then we got to contain Murrell and Kobe.
What does the tempo of the game look like against Utah State?
We're going to try to run. We're going to try to play our basketball. We're going to try to play our basketball. We're going to press. We're going to try to get fast breaks and get up and down. We're not going to try to allow them to dictate how we want to play. So we just got to play our game.
They played a lot of zone against Boise State. Do you think they'll try to play some zone against you?
I think they'll throw it in. I think they will throw it in. They're comfortable and they're good at it. They're comfortable and they're good at it, and they've been doing it all year. They have the matchup zone that they play, and they have the 2-3 zone that they play, the 1-2-2. Back to the 2-3. They have some different defenses that they can throw at us, and they're really good at playing it.
They'd be brave to try to zone you, though. A team like the Lobos, where you guys love to shoot the three.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see. We'll see. I know our guys light up when they see zone, but you got to knock them down.
Right.
Utah State like to try to score against your press, or are they more willing to just kind of get it over and get into their offense?
They like to get it over and get it in their offense. I don't think they want to make it an up-and-down type of basketball game. They like to run sets. You know, they like to run a lot of sets, and they run good things. They run some really, really good sets. Some I stole and put them in my little Rolodex of play calls. So I think that's what they want to do. And, you know, at the end of the day, at the end of the clock, it's going to be Murrell and Kobe doing something with the ball.
Yeah. J-Rob, thanks for being with us, man. Congratulations.
I appreciate you guys
Big
having
win.
me.
Thanks, Coach Robinson.
You. Thank you so much.
Just awesome. Jerome Robinson, Lobo assistant. And we're going to take a timeout. Coming up, Lobo basketball post-game show. New Mexico 85, Wyoming 75 in the Thomas and Mack Center. Semifinals tomorrow at 9:30 Mountain. Our airtime 9 o'clock. Hope you'll be listening. We're back after this. Lobo basketball from Learfield.
On the Lobo Sports Network, Lobo Basketball has been brought to you by New Mexico State Parks Boating and Safety. Be safe on the water. Lobos wear life jackets. PNM. Talk to us at pnm.com. Also brought to you by Route 66 Casino Hotel. Quality service and value. Get your kicks. This is the Lobo postgame show. Once again, Robert Portnoy.
Welcome into the Lobo basketball postgame show, live from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. New Mexico is a winner, 85-75 over Wyoming. The Lobos have made the semifinals of the Mountain West Tournament. They will play tomorrow night, 9:30 Mountain Time, airtime 9 o'clock. It is Utah State, the Lobos, the 3 seed, and the 7 seed Utah State Aggies. New Mexico had not won a game in the Mountain West Tournament, Hunter, since they won the championship back in 2014. And Lobo fans all too familiar with the one-and-done scenarios for New Mexico the last 3 seasons. The seniors on this roster, of whom there are very few who have been around this entire time, they are celebrating a win in the Thomas and Mack on this court, the Mountain West court, for the first time. And that is really, really cool. The Lobos had one Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing slam dunk. That means $10 to All Face, courtesy of Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing. All Face serves over 2,500 kids and their families every year by teaching them how to prevent abuse and guiding them as they recover from it. Help us give children back their childhood. Learn more by visiting allface.org. New Mexico 85, Wyoming 75. Final back on the Lobo basketball postgame show after this timeout. Lobo basketball from Learfield. All right, it's time for our State Farm Insurance Assist of the game. The Lobos 85-75 winners over the Wyoming Cowboys here at the Thomas and Mack. And New Mexico shared the ball beautifully here tonight. The Lobos assisted 19 times on 29 field goal makes. Here it is, your State Farm Insurance Assist of the game. When teammates help each other out, great plays happen like this. James crossing over on Simons. Now has Joe Fursinger on him off the switch. Driving the baseline. Rising. Floater is good. James has 9. 3 of 9 field. Lobos lead by 5. Malawatch running and scoring off the Antono Jackson outlet. What a look by Ant. And a finish from McQuack. Unbelievable fast break off a made bucket. That is your State Farm Insurance Assist of the game presented by State Farm. Get an agent that gets you. The Lobos' early offense, Hunter, tonight was spectacular.
Yeah. And like Coach Robinson said, you knew that Wyoming was going to have a run, and they did. But I think at the end, I think fatigue kind of set in on Wyoming. I think that was really the difference.
And the Lobos withstood that run and earned their berth into the semifinals. Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino, your home for winning entertainment, including simulcast racing. We pause. When we come back on the post-game show, we'll select our PNM Reliable Player of the Game and our Subway Sub of the Game. New Mexico 85, Wyoming 75. Semifinals coming tomorrow at the Thomas and Mack. Lobo basketball from Learfield. We're back in the Thomas and Mack Center on the Lobo basketball post-game show. New Mexico has defeated Wyoming 85-75. The Lobos will play in the semifinal round. That one is tomorrow night, 9:30 Mountain Time. That's the tip. Our airtime, 9 o'clock, with the Bank of the West pregame show. The Lobos are one win away from playing for a tournament championship and an NCAA tournament berth. How about that? Lobos 85, Wyoming 75, the final. Okay, time for our PNM Reliable Player of the Game. So fitting that the senior, the 4-year Lobo, who has never won a game on this court, in this building, in this event, Joe Furstinger is your PNM Reliable Player of the Game. Your game changer for the Lobos in a quarterfinal win over Wyoming is none other than Lobo Post, Joe Furstinger. In the Thomas and Mack for Mountain West action. Furstinger, straightaway 3.
Yes! Joe has 11. He knocks down a 3 ball. The Lobos have 5 different players with a triple tonight.
Joe Furstinger, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, just 1 turnover, 8 of 13 field, 1 of 1 from deep, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, and 3 offensive rebounds among his 9. He's the PNM Reliable Player of the Game. PNM delivers reliable energy to you 24/7. Committed community partners, PNM, adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy, and working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. Talk to us at pnm.com, where you can manage your account and learn how to save money on your electric bill. Joe Furstinger, the PNM Reliable Player of the Game. And you heard J-Rob tell us, Jerome Robinson, he said Joe did not want this potentially to be his last game. You never know what the postseason would hold potentially for other tournaments that aren't the NCAAs, but he took care of business tonight and had a spectacular game.
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, seniors, you don't want your career to end. You want to continue to you want this thing to keep going. And why not? I mean, these guys have a chance to get to the ship, and they just took one huge step, and back at it tomorrow.
Semis tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 o'clock Mountain. Number 1 seed Nevada, number 5 seed San Diego State. San Diego State beat Fresno State in a barn burner earlier today. Nevada, by the way, had its hands full in the early game today with UNLV. Had to come back from a halftime deficit to win that game. That's the 6 o'clock Pacific game. Ours is the 8:30 Pacific game, 9:30 Mountain. And the Lobos have number 7 seed Utah State, the upset win over Boise State, the 2 seed, earlier this evening. The Subway Sub of the game, Hunter. Who's your choice?
It was tough. It's got to be Mathis. I thought he played tough defense. He stretched the floor. Although he didn't shoot the 3 well, he was 2 of 7 from the 3. Had 4 assists. And I thought he gave fits to Kelly, the point guard, at times.
5 rebounds too.
Yeah, and 5 rebounds. No, but it's tough because we're always changing that starting lineup. Right. And, we look at it. And for us, we look at, wait a minute, who started?
Right, of course, yes.
Because
Troy Simons could have been, yeah. But he started.
Very well. He could have been. But
Anthony Mathis. Subway Sub of the game. Congratulations to Tone. Anthony Mathis is your Subway Sub of the game. Subway restaurants keep you going on and off the court. Stop in today. This magical run at the end of the season. Coach Weir's first as the head coach of New Mexico continues, Hunter. 6 in a row, 12 of 16, and the first tournament victory in 4 years. And they're playing again tomorrow night. How cool is this?
No, I mean, if you go back to Thanksgiving tournament in Florida, you come off that trip 0-3 thinking, okay, we're going to have a long season ahead of us, and I think Coach Weir, he's got them peaking at the right time, and it's all coming together.
Unbelievable, and this fan base is energized. We had a Pitt West game.
Yeah, they were kind of spread out.
Yes,
but you could feel the energy, the Lobo fans, and I think more will show up tomorrow
for sure. No doubt about it. All right, partner, another late one again tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're in Vegas. We can do it.
That's right. Nobody sleeps here anyway.
That's right.
All right. Big thank you to Malik Taylor, our broadcast producer and engineer. My partner is the Lobo legend, Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. We take the air tomorrow, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, with the Bank of the West pregame show once again before the semifinal matchup against the 7-seed Utah State. 9:30 tip-off Mountain Time. The Lobos and the Aggies playing for a berth
in Saturday's championship game here at the Thomas & Mack. That one's scheduled for Saturday at 4 o'clock. That's going to do it for us for tonight. Your final score for the final time, New Mexico 85, Wyoming 75. We'll talk to you tomorrow from the Thomas & Mack in fabulous Las Vegas. So long, everybody. You've listened to Lobo Basketball from Learfield.
State Farm agents get what's important.